So, good morning. Today we here very windy and cold weather in Scotland. Yeah, and so welcome back to our session today again. Yeah. So before we are going to study anything further, here comes Ajahn Pira. Would like to hear stories from all of you on compassion. And I hope you have prepared to tell us some stories on compassion. Who would like to go first?
Professor Tia.
Oh no, it's me. Don't nominate me. Actually, I have been working very hard because of Monit. She's always saying that. Did you prepare your story? Yes. So I told her that okay, I will prepare, and then so actually yesterday we've been talking while she was like walking meditated in front of the what is called a main the main temple what what Jai here what Praputa Chinala. Okay, so what yeah the main chapel.
Okay,
so
we're lucky to have nearby.
So it's not that far from our house.
Okay.
Okay. What I prepare is actually a quite simple story, and then I never thought this is also realize that this called compassion. Actually, it's a story of our Buddha. Yep. About his routine activity.
Oh yes.
Yep, his routine activity. He has to, according to what I read, is he has 5 activity, like routine activity every day. Yep. Like in the morning. So he went he's go for like morning arm sprawl. And then in the afternoon, so he performed teaching Dhamma teaching or Dhamma talk, and at night, so he talked to all the monks, all the monks. I mean, what is called? It's not it's at dusk. So he talked to the monk. I think maybe like just like evening chanting around that time. And at night, so he answers 8 questions for the Deva. Okay.
Yeah.
And early morning. So after he woke up, so he investigate all the not only human, not human being, but
all sentient beings.
All what?
Sentient beings.
Okay, that one. And so who can be taught or who not? And then he might go to that person. That if that person is the highest lotus or not, you investigate that. Okay, so because at the beginning where I don't think this one is show compassion, but it's just like a normal routine. But when I think about it, you have to do this every day, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought he's actually is very kind, and it's maybe called Appamanya, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
This is my story because I never thought that this called compassion before. But after I'm contemplating about this, so I think he's the one that really show compassion every day, 5 times a day.
5 times a day.
Never miss.
Yeah. Okay, so that's out of compassion that he did it. Yeah. Oh, anyone has got anything to ask Professor Chiap, or anything want to add on? So morning he goes to Pindapata, yeah, wishing others to get an opportunity to give a dana, and also part of teaching. And then in the afternoon, speaking with the people, right?
Yes.
And the evening, speaking to the monks. Yeah, and in the night, speaking to the devas, and early morning, it's called a samapati. Yeah, checking the all ascension beings, so that who is capable of becoming enlightened, or who should I help. So this is exactly the Buddha's compassion. This is the real compassion that Buddha was practicing in his daily life every day. From there, any story you can tell now.
Chubin, Monit. I nominate Monit.
Monit.
Okay.
Monit, what have you prepared?
Huh?
What have you prepared?
Oh, I prepare from Sutta.
Okay.
In Pitaka, Vinaya Pitaka number 5, Khandaka, Mahawaka. Okay. At one time, the Blessed One, Buddha, went to the side, saying of the sick monk. Buddha went with Venerable Ananda. They saw the sick monk who was lying in the pool of his stool and urine. And Buddha asked the sick monk that, why didn't the other monk look after you or take care of you? And the sick monk answered that, because I did not patronize or help other monks, so they didn't patronize me too. After the answer of that sick monk, Buddha told Venerable Ananda to bring the water to take a bath for the sick monk. And after that, Buddha called a meeting and asked many monks about that sick monk. That Buddha asked, was any monk sick in that vihara? And the monk answered that there was a sick monk. And what was his disease? The monk answered that he had diarrhea. And Buddha asked further, is any monk to look after him? all of the monks answered that no. And Buddha asked again, why? Answer that because he don't patronize any monks. Then Buddha told these monks that now all of you don't have parents, so if you get sick, who will help you, take care you? So you must take care each other. If you had upachaya, teacher, disciple, or other monks who has same upachaya with you, so please take care each other. If you don't have, you got abat. Abat ภาษาอังกฤษด้วยค่ะ
Offense.
ฮะ
Offense.
offense o double f e n s e เหรอเจ้าค่ะ
ใช่
OFT
offenses.
offense if you don't look after for the sick monk you must offend จบละ
Okay. Anyone know what is the story? Huh? So this story is Putigatissa Thera. Yeah, the Thera who was ill, and no one was looking after him, and having seen his temperament that on that day he will gain enlightenment, the Buddha went to visit him and nursed him. After giving a nurse and give a talk, he become the enlightened one. And meanwhile, the Buddha also said that one who cares the sick people, that means he is caring the Buddha. And further, the monks have given up the family life, so one should look after one another. I guess Sangha should look after one another, like that. Okay. So, any other stories? Anybody wants to share? Tanachan Pira, do you want to share a story on compassion? Or you're too stressed to prepare things?
Now I try to keep everything from my room because maybe on Sunday I have to go clear everything in the room. There is that too, maybe.
Yeah. So you're stressed.
I'm not sure because the home office don't reply me now. I just keep waiting.
Okay.
The last day is tomorrow. Yom Anna said, if tomorrow we don't have any reply from them, maybe on Sunday I have to go. Because they give me on 30 is the last day. But the last flight from Thai Airways, they have only on Sunday at noon. เลยเงินไม่หมดแต่ตอนเนี้ย
Okay. Best of luck.
Okay. I have some story like to show how to get the compassion. This story from the Buddha time too. There was the pretty girl named Patajala. Patajala, she was born in the highlands. Her family is so rich. Her dad and mom is so pleased of her. And one day she finds fall in love with the poor guy that work in her family, and then she have elop from her families with that guy, and after that she get pregnant. She gave one son, and she said to her husband she want to visit and show grandson to granddad and mom or her parent. And the husband says, not now, not at the right time. Next time, if we ready to go, we have to visit the parent or bring the grandson to meet him or her. But after that, she got the second pregnancy. But in that time, before she gave birth, she told her husband she want to give birth her infant with her family and visit her hometown. And after that, during the way that they keep going on, and that day is so not a good day because they have the storm coming, and her husband get her and his son to live in the cave, to live not the cave, maybe under the tree. I forgot. And then he tried to find some food to feed them. During that time, he met some snake, like him be dead. And Patajala waiting for her husband and come back for food, but he said, and she waiting for long, and then she keep walking to find her husband, and then she met his body near the river, dead, and she's so sad and crying, and after that she bullied his body, and then she thought she want to keep further for met the parent, and she had to across the river in that time, and then she left one son on the bank. Yeah, and oh, I'm sorry, she gave birth after she bullied his body, her husband body, and then she gave birth the infant, the new one, the second son, and then she carried on her son to across the river. The river in the middle is so deep, and then she lifted up her son to the air. And that time, the eagle tried to find some for feed. They shouldn't do. And look at the infants. He think that is food, and then she get the infant in his mouth and fly away. So Patajala, she's so very frightening, and she say he have a scream and shout, come on, yeah, to get her infant back from the eagle. But her another son he stay on the bank, and then looking for his mother. His mom called, come on. He thought she called him and keep walking to the river, and then she tried to stop her son, don't do that, don't do that. And then the boy go on with the wave in the river. She lost everything in that time. And when she keep walking, and she's so sad and cry or will walking to her village, and really sad with it, her lost everything in that time, in the same time. Only one day she lost her husband and 2 sons, and then she keep forward to her village. And that night, last night, the storm coming, her family, everyone in her family is dead because of, in that night, have some burning, the fire burning everything. People in that dead, and her parent too, just because of the fire burning her house last night. And then she's so really sad and get mad, like she don't care about her body. Her clothes is gone. Keep walking naked, walking through the way. People have seen her like a crazy girl. And then she walking to the Chetawan Vihara. In that time, the Buddha have some monasteries for many people in the Vihara, in the pavilion. And then the Buddha saw some mad girl walking to him, and then people around look at her and saw really pity because of she looked like crazy girl, and told and say someone say try to stop her. Someone saw really compassion and get him well by give the clothes for her, and then she met the Buddha. The Buddha said, the Buddha said, you lost everything in your family, but one thing, don't be lost, you're mindful. You have to accept your mindful on your mind. And after that, because of this word from him, is really full of compassion and wanting her to know herself, to come back. This is very good. I said, this is from the compassion of the Buddha and many people around her at that time. This is job.
Yeah, so thank you very much. Actually, last session I mentioned that no one should speak about Patachara and Kisa Gautami, but Kanthira wasn't here.
I don't know.
So it's an exception for you to tell that story. Because you know we have been hearing that Patachara and Kisa Gautami so many times. So that's why I said that, okay, no one will tell this story, these two stories, but Ajahn Pira wasn't here, so it's okay. Now we understand that Patachara's very sad story and how compassionately Buddha taught her, and eventually she becomes an arhat. Yeah? So that is one story. Right. Any other one? Hey, Tita Dammo, do you have a story you have prepared?
Since I can't talk about Gautami, there is about Venerable Mahakassapa. It's in the Dhammapada, when he emerged out of Phalasamapatti for 7 days. He wanted to, this is the time when someone gives dana, it brings the most merit. So he wanted to help the people who needed the most merit. So he went to the poorest part of town for the poorest people, so that what little they give, they may gain great benefit. And another one about him is in the Jinna Sutta of the Kassapa Sanyutta in the Sanyutta Nikaya. When he was very old, Lord Buddha asked him, why are you are wearing hemp robes, rag robes, pansakulika robes, which are very heavy. You're an old now, and you are eating only alms food, living in forests and aloof from society. So why don't you come and stay with me, accept invitations for dana, wear the robes that were donated, and stay in the monastery for your own comfort now that you're old. But Venerable Mahakassapa, he refused and said, I do this for two reasons. One is because it's pleasant abiding. Yeah, it's good for him, it's pleasant. And second is out of compassion for future generations, so that they may, for those who can use his path for liberation, they may have someone to follow, an example to follow with the Dhutangas and the strict practice, because it is suitable for certain people. So this sort of shows that the wide spectrum of compassion within the sasana. It is not contained within one system. So like the popular interpretations of compassion as things like charity work and this is contained within the sasana as well, because it is truly compassionate things to do. But also the greatest form of compassion is helping other beings release from suffering. So we see these examples in the Lord Buddha's dispensation when he teaches. In a lot of instances, out of pure compassion, he dedicated his entire life to this teaching. And likewise with each of the great examples of Arahants, they all have their own form of teaching and compassion. So like the two contrasts is Venerable Ananda and Venerable Mahakassapa. Venerable Ananda, he, as you all know, he helped institute the Bhikkhuni Sangha to help women and be released from suffering. Also, he was a very good teacher and a very pleasant character. But Venerable Kassapa was a bit different. But he had his own way of showing compassion for future generations and for his disciples. So this is sort of, we shouldn't contain our compassion to one and try and point our finger at someone who does it differently and say they're wrong. This is something that we see a lot of nowadays. So you get the strict practicing monks and lay people who say social working is wrong and they're wasting their time. And likewise from the other side, the sociable side, they point their finger at ascetics and call them Pacceka Buddhas and so on. These, they do not help the sasana and they do not help oneself either, because all it does is increase our tanha mana ditti, which keeps us trapped in samsara. So as Buddhists, our aim should be to help as many people as possible overcome suffering. And the best way to help the sasana is to just do that and not criticize and mind our own business and do what is most efficient for our own temperament.
Okay. Make sure that it summarized all the compassion now. I don't have to teach.
Okay, you're welcome.
That's a whole summary of the teaching. Okay. Niroz, do you have a story to tell on the compassion? Anything you want to add before we go in? Huh?
Yes, Ajahn, I have one story.
Okay.
I think all of you know about this story. I have one story.
Why don't you turn on your video?
Okay, I will turn on my video.
Morning.
Okay. I have one story. It's about the Angulimala. We can find this story in the life history of Angulimala and in the Bahung chanting.
Yeah.
So this story starts from the Kosal reigns. At that time, the king Pasendi Kosal was ruling on that reigns, Kosal.
Mm.
And then at that time, there was a very amazing thing happened on his kingdom. Actually, all the weapons all around his city, all around his kingdom, is just shaking by itself. ก็คือคล้ายกับว่ามันสั่นเองนะครับ shaking by itself. So the king's astrologer says that this is happened because in our reigns, in our kingdom, there is a biggest robbery, biggest thieves has born now.
Mm.
So at that time, there was one man who is working for the king said, today in my home, there was a new baby child has born. And he said, maybe because of him, all the weapon in our city has been shaken by itself.
Mm.
And then actually, the father of that baby told to the king that we should kill that baby or do something, because if he become the thief in the future, and then it will make many troubles to all the living kind. And so the king said, oh, don't do that, because he is here now, he is baby now. We should teach him, we should give him a good lesson, then he will become a good boy.
Mm.
So at that time, the king gave the name to that new baby born child as Ahimsaka. That means that no killing to others, no harming to others.
Mm.
And then this baby born child grow every day, grow, and then he is very smart. He can learn anything very fastly and quickly. And then his father and mother send him to the Tachasila. It's just like the university nowadays. At the time, it's called the Tachasila, and he went to study the Tachasila. And then he learned everything in there, in the Tachasila. And then what happened was, because of his smartness, because of his wisdom, all other friends are very jealous of his talent. So one of the friend go to his teacher and say that he is not good, Achan. When he is with you, then he just like he is showing a good to you, but he is not good, just like blaming him in the wrong side, telling to dear Achan, his teacher. And then actually the teacher, master, didn't believe that Ahimsaka is a bad student. Actually, the teacher knows that Ahimsaka is a very good student. So he didn't believe to those students who came to blame about the Ahimsaka. And then again and again, there are many students come and blaming about the Ahimsaka again and again. And then because of lots of students are blaming about him, then the teacher also began to second means one way. Because of lots of students come and telling about the bad things about him, then teacher also began to believe that maybe Ahimsaka is a bad student. And then maybe another many students come and say that now he is going to take your position. Just like now Ahimsaka will become the teacher, not you, Achan. And because of that, teacher also began to think in the negative side about the Ahimsaka. And then he was thinking that what to do about the Ahimsaka. And then he made a plan and called the Ahimsaka to come and meet him, and told to the Ahimsaka that Ahimsaka, there is a one teaching that I haven't told anyone. This is a very good one, good lesson, that if anyone learn this teaching, then he will become a very good at everything. And then Ahimsaka also replied to the Ajahn, yes, Ajahn, I want to read this lesson, this teaching. So what I have to do? And then Ajahn told to the Ahimsaka that if you can bring me the 1,000 finger of the people, then I will teach this lesson to you. And then Ahimsaka also believed this, that, oh, this is a very good lesson. Then I have to bring what Ajahn told me to do. Then I will get this lesson. Then I will become a very good and the very greatest person in this world. And after that, he went to the forest and waiting for the people who will come to that forest, and he will kill that person, kill that people, and cut his finger. Actually, at the first time, he didn't make like a anguli mala. It's just like a, he didn't make a mala first. Actually, it has been told in the story that he put into the trees. He just hang on the, cut the finger and put into the trees, on the trees branches. And then because of that, there are birds or insects eat that finger. So after that, he decided that I will kill the people and cut their finger, and I will make a mala. And from that, he started to make a anguli mala. And every day he killed the people, and then he make a anguli mala and wear that mala in his neck. And every day the days passed away, many finger has been collected. And because of that anguli mala, in the city there is, all people are fear of him, that if we go that side, then Angulimala will kill us, and he will cut our finger. So nobody wants to go at that side. And then because of that, the king Pasendikosal, who was ruling in that kingdom, he sent many guards, his soldiers, to go and catch. Even though he sent many soldiers, maybe 100 soldiers or something more than that, but even though they cannot catch the Angulimala, it has been told that because of his, he has done merits in the past, in the Kasyapa Buddha's time. He have given dana to the Kasyapa Buddha. Because of that, he has many powers. He can ran faster than the horse, and he has a very strength and very strong, so nobody can catch him. And after that, what happened was, he killed every day, and he has already collected 999 fingers, and then only one finger left to be collected. And then one day he was planning that, okay, if anyone passed through this way, then I will kill him or her, and I will cut his finger, and then I have already collected the 1,000 finger, and I will go to give to my master. He was thinking that. And on that day, the Lord Buddha was sitting meditation in the Wat Jetavana Ram Vihan. Wat Jetavana Ram. temple. And then he went to the deep meditation, as like before, one of our Dhamma friend told that Buddhas have a 5 daily routines that he will karuna to other people's. This is one of the one thing that he will do, that today I will go and I will
Teach.
promote,
Teach.
I will teach him. So while he was saying that whom we will teach, then he saw the Angulimala, Anguli Ahimsaka. And then Lord Buddha saw that if I didn't go to preach, I didn't go to teach, or I didn't show the compassion to the Ahimsaka, then he will do the very bad work, bad deeds. That is the Matukha, killing his own mother. That means it's a very biggest bad deeds. We call the
Anantariya.
Anantariyakam. Yeah, Anantariyakam. And then if anyone do the Anantariyakam, then he will surely go to the hell first. No one can help him. So after Lord Buddha see this, saw him in his meditation, and then because of the compassion of the Lord Buddha, he went to that forest, that place where the Angulimala was waiting. And again, at the time, the one woman was also coming to that way, because he heard the news that king has made more than 1,000 soldiers taking with him to catch the Angulimala, to punish him, to kill him. So the woman, no order, he says murder of the Ahimsaka, Angulimala. So he was worried about his son. So he was going to through that way where the Angulimala was waiting. And then the Angulimala was sitting on the tree, and he was looking, if anyone passed from this way, I will kill him or her. And then first time he saw the one woman who was coming from that way, and he was saying, oh, then I will kill this woman first, and then I will take her finger and make Angulimala, and went to go to give to my master. And at the same time, when he saw the woman, then he saw the one monk from the another side. He was coming to that way too. And then he began to think that, oh, then I will not kill that woman, but I will kill this monk. And then he came down from the tree and began to ran to that through that way the monk was coming. And then he ran very fast, and he was near to that monk. Monk was also walking. He was behind the monk, and the monk was also walking. And how fast he ran, but he cannot catch to that monk. Before, I have already told you that he has a many strength. He can run very faster than the horse. But even though he was putting all the strength and all the speed, even though he cannot catch to the Lord Buddha. And then he was saying to the Lord Buddha that, stop, monk, stop. And then Lord Buddha told to the Angulimala that I have already stopped, but you haven't stopped. And then Angulimala was very amazed because of his Lord Buddha's teaching. Why he is saying he has stopped while he was still walking. And then he asked to the Lord Buddha, why you are saying you are already stopped, but you are still walking right now? And then Lord Buddha teach him that I told you that I have already stopped. That means I have already stopped from avoiding all kinds of living. I have already avoided from killing other living beings. But you are still not avoiding, you are still killing to the other living beings. After that little hint, a little teaching that he understand the Dhamma of the Lord Buddha, and he began to realize that from the beginning that his master told him to cut the finger, oh, I was on the wrong path. What I am doing, if I kill these lots of people, that means I will surely go to the wrong way and I will go to the hell. He began to realize all the bad things what he had done in his past. And then because of that teaching, he's told to the Lord Buddha that just like I will take the refuge of the Lord Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha and renunciations and become the monk in the Buddhism, and not take a long time. I have read on his life story. It took only about 7 days and he became enlightenment, succeeds to the Arhat. So we can see that this is the very biggest compassion of the Lord Buddha. If Lord Buddha didn't show the compassion to the Ahimsaka or the Lord or Angulimala, then he will surely go to the hell, and he could not achieve to the highest point of the Buddhism, that means Arhat. So I hope
Okay.
you understand this teaching.
Yeah, thank you very much for the story. It's quite nice. So this is Angulimala, yeah, and let me share the PowerPoint. Okay, so this is what we have heard so far. Okay, so the Buddha's compassion is divided into 5 ways that the Buddha displayed his compassion to the sentient beings. And the daily practice, his daily practice also demonstrates that how compassionate he was. Further on, we discussed, we heard the story of a Puttigatissa Thera who was sick, and Buddha went to nurse him and then gave him teachings, and eventually he also became an arhat. Similarly, Patachara, who was great in grief and the sadness of losing the family members, lost her mind, and yet Buddha kindly admonished and helped her. And we also heard from Mahakassapa and Ananda's different aspects of compassion towards the Sangha community in particular, and future generation. And Angulimala, so the story of a killer. So this is a serial killer, probably the first recorded serial killer in the history.
So Puttigatissa Thera, he had dysentery, right?
Dysentery means
Like really
pimples, like.
was it pimples? Oh, I thought it was like
Monit,
diarrhea,
what is it
cholera.
called? Puttigatissa, what type of a disease he had? What is it called in English? That was a rotten.
Not
Oh.
dysentery, like he had bad diarrhea and everything.
It wasn't the diarrhea. It was some like a pimples. The
Yeah,
isn't it? What is
like
it?
The sick man had diarrhea.
Diarrhea is just the out. I think that wasn't the diarrhea. It was a kind of a pimples and things. That the whole body was what's called when it comes after
น้ำเหลืองครับน้ำเหลือง
pus. Yeah, pus. So full of pus in his full body, and nobody wanted to go close because of fear of the virus. So that was the reason.
It's pretty amazing.
Okay, so this is a karuna that we are talking about. Okay, and this karuna means the need to help everyone. Okay, and thought of eliminate the suffering of others, and ahimsa. That was our discussion, and everyone says in these ways. And the real meaning of a karuna is a sentiment which inclines, okay, one to spare or help those in distress, taking care of those in need without expecting anything in return. And it is a social virtue that everyone should have. And actually, every religion has these teachings. And this is, I quoted from Samyukta Nikaya, is that basically means a desire to remove what is detrimental to others and their unhappiness. And the below one, it's from Visuddhi Marga. Yeah, Visuddhi Marga. It's about the feeling that causes the good people's heart to be moved when they see others suffering. Actually, I really like this passage a lot. This passage is quite a beautiful passage that Buddhaghosa says in the Visuddhi Marga. Yeah, so it's a good people's heart, yeah, trembles after seeing the others suffering. It's a really beautiful saying. And further on, it is not just a feeling of a pity. You have to take actions as well. And only then that becomes the real compassion. And that's why I brought up saying that what Buddhism is. So what is Buddhism? And then we discussed that. I introduced to think in the Buddha's qualities, Mahakarunadi Guna, Panyadi Guna, and Parisuddhi Guna. And in this Mahakarunadi Guna, now you can see Professor Tiep was talking all these Mahakaruna. Professor was talking all Mahakaruna, Buddha's Mahakaruna. So this is coming from here, and Mahakaruna Adiguna. And then we discuss about he sent the 60 disciples for the freeing from their miseries, for the happiness and welfare with a kampaya, lokanukampaya, with the compassion for the world.
That's something about, I just remembered.
Yeah.
Yesterday was the full moonlight. Yesterday was called Poson in Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
It's the most important full moon day after Vesak for us, because it is the day that the Arahant Mahinda came about 2,250 years ago to preach the Dhamma. And the story goes that the king was hunting, and when he went close to the rock, he saw Arahant Mahinda standing on the rock, and he was scared, thinking it was a yakka, because this was in the middle of the forest. But then Arahant Mahinda said, Tissa, put down your bow, do not fear. I am following the Lord of Compassion, King of Compassion. So, nice story. Imagine someone, imagine us going to Kim Jong-il and saying, hey, Kim, put down your missile.
He will tell you, go to America, tell all the nuclear weapons to extinguish.
You may not have your life to go to America. You will be dead immediately in front of him.
Okay, so this is the Buddha's compassion, and also we see the compassion of other family monks, okay, towards the other beings, future generation. Now, let's see in a very concise way. So compassion, its characteristics is to promote aspects of allaying suffering. And this is dukkha panaya. Dukkha apanana, karapavati lakhana. So dukkha apanayana. Okay, karapavati. Okay, Lakhana. So this is to promote. Basically, the Pali term here means to promote the ending of suffering. Any action, okay, and the characteristics Lakhana to end all the sufferings and this action being taken. Okay, so that is to promote the aspect of allaying suffering. So this is the characteristics of compassion, and its nature is not bearing others' suffering. Okay, so this is not bearing others' suffering. Para dukkha sahana rasa. Para dukkha nasahana rasa. It should be nasahana. Okay. Para dukkha nasahana rasa. So not bearing others' suffering. Whenever we see others are suffering in pain, then that moment you have this feeling of that's why sometimes it comes empathy. Yeah, empathy. Oh. Right? No. Yeah.
No, I know it. Like,
Empathy.
no, the PH.
EACHY.
Yeah. Okay. So empathy. So this comes empathy here. Now, here, not able to bear others' suffering. Is here others doesn't mean only humans. It includes all sentient beings. Okay? And not only one specific ethnic groups or a nationality, but beyond apamanya. Okay, so this is apamanya. And then the manifestation of its non-cruelty. Non-cruelty, the thought of non-cruelty is the manifestation of it, how it generates. That is the thought of non-cruelty. An approximate cause is to take note of the helplessness in the overwhelmed by suffering. So whenever we see someone's in a real suffering, the helpless, that they can't help them at that moment, then we are having this compassion coming in. Okay, and further on, the success of this practice of a compassion is all the cruelty being subsided. Yeah? Vihingsa upasamo. Yeah? The vihingsa, this is vihingsa upasamo. Upasamo means quietened, achieved. It has been achieved. The tassa sampati. Okay, and then a fail, sorrow produced. So sorrow has been produced. Now here, looking at this four characters, the four principles, the character, nature, manifestation, and approximate cause of the compassion. Now I have a story to tell. There's a lady who always very sensitive to see others suffering. Yeah? Others suffering. And then whenever she sees someone is in suffer, she cries. Yeah? She cries out of compassion. Do you think is that right, or there's something wrong?
No, I think that is dosa.
Sorry?
I think the feeling of her is not, it's not compassion. It is dosa.
Dosa.
Interesting.
Why dosa? Why dosa?
Because she saw the suffering of the other and cannot help the other. So she feel เรียกอะไรอ่ะขุ่นเคืองใจอ่ะ
Useless. Feel helpless.
This is more kind.
Because she can't help,
Yeah.
so she cried.
I know.
That feeling
Yeah.
of compassion is dosa.
Okay.
Yeah, you hate yourself. Is that why didn't I? Why
Yeah.
can't I help?
Yeah. So that's why this is the fine line here. And normally we think that is your compassion making you hurt.
Mm.
Actually, that's your disability. Okay, it's not disability, inability. Yeah? Inability makes you feel that, and that's how you cry.
Mm.
Yeah, that's how you cry.
I felt this before because I was studying in university to work for diseases, tropical diseases like malaria and dengue, to help people in Asia and Africa with these horrible diseases. But I felt so helpless because I knew even if I cure this, it's going to be a new one.
Mm.
It's never going to end. I felt so helpless, bit angry. But then I found the Dhamma and I realized, okay, this is pretty much the only way.
Mm.
To,
Okay,
you know.
so yeah, so that's why it is not just a part of a compassion that we see, but it has to go with panya. Yeah, the nature of the real compassion comes with panya, wisdom.
Panya
Wisdom
tụi em
has
còn
to be.
Panya
Elena?
chưa tụi double M and no Y.
Okay.
Our
Done.
editors better.
My job.
Okay. I thought I make sense so that you can read it.
Ajahn, in order that in the case of the girl that she was not disabled, but she was unable to help, to show the compassion to that living being, and she was crying maybe because of the metta.
Ah,
Samsara,
could be. Hmm.
but not in
Yeah.
the case of karuna.
Okay. Okay, that could be meta. But again, if that's a meta that hurting her, then still comes under the dosa. Meta also shouldn't be hurting you.
The first step was right,
Yeah.
but then afterwards, things went wrong.
Okay. So that's this is the story.
That's like a feeling of
Hmm.
sort of like equalness as well. Like when you see someone suffering, it's like this is similar for everyone. Like in a way, like we are all in the same boat together.
Well, the moment when you see that, that's panya comes in. As long as you haven't seen, normally you will have a feeling that you are better and they are in that state. And then you want to help, but there is no way you can. That moment
Can-
you will cry.
I
Yeah.
think, in my opinion, that lots of the people who is called the Prutujana, I mean, they were still in the practicing about this metta, karuna, mudita, ubeka, and they can do only in the point of the view. They can practice, but not in the good level, that as one man who has practiced the jhana or the noble being, sota, panna, sakadagami, anagami, or the arhat. If on that level, then I think they can do the good. If anyone say that living being is suffering, then maybe he know that he is unable to help him or her. Then he will put his mind in the equanimity.
Yeah. Okay. So, as a person who is practicing this Brahma Vihara, supposed to be promoting this freeing all the sufferings of others, freeing sufferings of others, and also seeing that not able to bear of any other's suffering. But having said that, one should not be harming or making oneself suffering out of it. So the moment when you are suffering from that action, then the real compassion cannot come. It's not empathy, it is your desire. And with that, you will be judging from one person to another. Like, let's say, in like Syria or in those places, we will be seeing one person is better than the another, and we are taking some person who the people, those who are suffering, we will be thinking that because of that person. So one group of people are making another group of people are in suffer. So like that, there will be a mana. The measurement starts. The moment when there is a measurement, try to divide from one group to another, then that is not the real compassion. Okay, that's a pure kind of a politicized agenda comes in.
I'm so good because I'm helping.
Yeah, well, okay. So that's why the pure compassion is you are helping that person because he is in suffering without measuring, without comparing. Maybe someone is hurt by somebody. You are helping that person who is hurt without thinking that another person has caused it. Right? So that is the real compassion. But the moment when you are saying, oh, he is hurt and so I feel so sorry, but another person you are hating, then again, that is not the real compassion. Okay? You can't love one and hate another. Okay? And this is what the most thing happening nowadays, saying that I'm helping, and this is most of the charities saying I'm helping this group of people out of compassion. In the meantime, trying to say that those people are not good who are causing it. Yeah? So that is not the real compassion. Your job is just helping this person and seeing that the suffering of this person.
The person doing the harm is suffering as well.
Yeah.
They'll suffer more in the long term.
And if we look at it, a person who is harming another person, that means he is undergo with very deep trouble. Without going into the deep trouble of oneself, he will not be able to cause a trouble to other people. Yeah? And here again, having said that, doesn't mean you can't help the person who is causing a help. You can speak about it. You can take some actions out of compassion. Okay? Again, out of compassion, not out of dosa. Out of compassion towards that person who is causing. Now, suppose you are in a classroom. Like in America, it happens quite a lot. In America, it happens quite a lot. In a classroom, somebody will come with a gun and shoot all the students. Yeah? Shoot all the students in the classroom. Now, you are in that position as a teacher. What would you do? Suppose a person with a gun comes into your room and he has intention to kill the students, and you are the teacher standing by him. What would you do?
I will help my
Help
students.
to kill all the children.
Huh? He killed already.
No, he hasn't. He's trying. He's just coming to kill all the children. So will you help the gunman to kill all the children, or you will kill yourself too?
It depends on the situation, son. If he was pointing the gun on the teacher, then first of all, teachers should take a safety first. And if he was pointing onto the students, then of course the teachers should stop that people who is pointing towards his student.
There is a story in the Jataka as well. If anyone remember? Not Jataka, the one novice. Anyone remember? Novice helped all the bandit.
He helped.
สามเณร
สัง
สา
กิจ
มเณร
จา
น้อย สามเณรอรหันต์น่ะช่วยอ่า
สามเณรสัง
โจ
กิจ
ร
จา
สามเณรสังกิจจะช่วยโจรทั้งหลายอ่ะนั่นน่ะ so can you tell Miros, can you tell just that part, just that part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, at that time, Lord Buddha told to the 30 monks that take the little novice with you too, and then they went to the Warsaw for the inside the deep forest. And at that time, there was many thieves, maybe 500 thieves, that
500, yeah.
they were preparing for something that they would catch one of the men for Bushayani Regwalajan.
Sacrifice.
To sacrifice. And then actually this happened that those thieves came to that place inside the forest and catch one of the monk. And then there was a rule that if anything happened to one of the monk, then just ring a bell, and then all the monks will come and have a meeting. And then when all the monks heard the bell rang, and then all the monks come there, and that one of the monk was going to being sacrificed. And then what happened was one of the biggest monk told to the smaller monk in the Warsaw, just like the biggest monk have 20 Warsaw, then other monks have 19, 18, like that. So biggest one told that I will sacrifice myself. And then after that, other monks told to the biggest elder monk that no, Achan, I will sacrifice myself. And then all monks saying that, after going, all 30 monks said that no, Achan, the last monk said I will be the one who will sacrifice myself. And then last one, novice told that I will sacrifice myself, Achan. Do you remember that first time while the Lord Buddha told that take the novice, so this is my duty, so I came with you, Achan. So he explained that this is my duty because I came here to save all of you. And then while he was going, the novice, little novice, only 7 years old, but he's Arhat. He has already achieved the Arhat state. And at that time, he went to the deep meditation, chana level. And then he was sitting very quietly. And one of the thief is going to sacrifice to cut the novice head. He was using his dab, that's right.
Sword.
It was the one of the chief is using his sword to cut the head of the novice, little novice. And what happened was very amazing thing happened. Even the very sharp sword cannot cut the novice even a little, but the sword has already bent for a one time, second time, third time. And then all the thieves began to realize that this novice is not a little novice which we are thinking. Maybe he has a very big guna means what is merit.
Superstitious.
So, and then all the thieves said to the little novice that we take the refuge. What he have done is a very bad deeds. So we realize right now. So I want to take a refuge with you to Lord Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, and we will renunciation. We will all take a ordinate as a monk, and then this little novice take all those thieves, 500 thieves, to the Lord Buddha's temple, and after that they all ordinate as a monk for a not long time, and they practice some meditation and become a Arhat. All those 500 thieves become Arhat.
Yeah. So, will you be able to sacrifice for this gunman who come into your room as you are teaching?
They make a difference though. He's got more than one bullet.
Yeah. So what would you do? Suppose he comes in. he comes in. What would you do?
Ran away.
Mm.
Okay. Monit,
Chúng ta
what
biết
would
gọi.
you do?
I will fight.
Oh,
I believe that.
okay.
I'm
So,
Very different situation, Ajahn. Because at that time, maybe the gunman has some kinds of หมายถึงว่าอาจจะมีพยาบาทกับใครสักคนหรือเปล่าที่เข้ามา Illness.
ill
เหมือน
will.
ที่ไงเหมือนไอ้เด็กที่ไปยิง2 คนเมื่อวานเนี่ย
Ill will.
ความกด
Okay.
ดัน ถูกกระทำมาก่อน he got the pressure
Okay. So I will leave you to decide which one you want to be. Okay. But when we look at it, what we understand that whenever someone is causing the troubles to others, you have to warn them. And that warning, you are not warning because of dosa, but you're warning them and trying to let them stop doing it out of compassion towards them. Yeah. So in that case, sometimes if you are in the position, in order to save his future, there is a possibility that you can even to kill him, so that he won't get more bad karma by killing so many people. But that having said that, you have to be responsible your karma as well, because of your killing you are receiving too. But the degree of that killing will be less because you are killing with a compassion rather than the dosa. That's why Kung Fu, all the Kung Fus, when it started, all the Kung Fu is not to kill somebody, but disarm. So disarm, not disarm, disarm, so that that person will not be able to cause any harms to any other people. So if anyone is trying to harm or trying to do something, you have to show your degree of compassion to that person as well as other person who is being harmed. And then when a person who is committing that, he won't stop by doing just one. He will be continue doing it further on. So that's why it is a person who knows his responsibility to take every action to stop it. To stop it. And that's again stopping out of compassion, not out of dosa. The moment when you act with a dosa, then that's not a compassion. The result, you are going to get it, not that person. That person will be getting good results probably after your action. But again, you are creating more what's called anger, hate to one another. So that is it comes under the law of karma. Seeing that someone's doing for their own bad in the future, bad results in the future. And as you being a person who knows the result coming in the future, which will be bad, you are intervening that action that someone is taking, and you are trying to stop it. Okay, so once every action that you are doing with a thought that not allowing that person to hurt other people so that they will be free from the suffering, and then meanwhile the person who is committing, you're stopping that person in different ways or any ways, so that he will not accumulate bad karmas for his own future. That is a compassion, the real compassion. And this is what are ways of helping and what are the reasons to help. Now I will leave it here for Monday. So what are ways of helping and what are the reasons to help? So you can think about it, and meanwhile you can think of some stories to tell. Ways and reasons. Okay, anybody has got anything to ask before we end today's session? What is the ways of helping and what are the reasons to help? Okay, so I will end here and listen before we end today's session.
Oh, teacher.
Yeah.
It has questions.
What's the name of Chataka that Taniro said about?
Sankitcha, Samanin Sankitcha.
Sankita.
Sankitcha.
The life story of the Sankitcha Samanin.
Sankitcha.
Sankitcha. Okay. Anyone has got anything to share before we end, or any question to ask to one
Actually,
another?
I have one question before
Okay.
this lesson will end, Ajahn. Actually, why Ajahn was telling that if anyone was doing karuna to any living beings, then accepting anything with him or her, then it's a dosa.
I don't understand.
Actually, Ajahn have to back to the session that we one day about the karuna that Ajahn described before. The Ajahn told that it's on the dosa. I don't understand why dosa.
If you are kind to one person, yeah. Suppose one person is beating a dog, yeah, and then you have a compassion to the dog because this dog is being bitten, so you want to help this dog, yeah, and then you want to help this dog, so that's a pure compassion. Meanwhile, if you have a thought of another person, a person who is beating, that this person is bad and this person should be punished, so that is a dosa. So compassion cannot be good to one and not to another. It should be equal. And then the compassion also should be go to a person who is beating. So you are stopping this person out of compassion, not out of dosa. Compassion here is every action that this person is doing is wrong. And then the result he is going to receive in the future. So if you have this mindset and you are telling this person to stop, or even hitting this person with the compassion, not a dosa, then the result is not there, but you are doing with compassion. But if you are hitting, or if you are saying with anger in your heart, the dosa, then the result is coming to you. Right? That's not the compassion. That's the difference of looking at it. So, yeah.
Perfect policeman would be an arahant who knows kung fu.
Okay. Anything? So if not, then we'll see on Monday morning, and I hope to hear nice stories. Okay, nice stories. Nice stories on the compassion. Sorry?
นายนี่เหรอ you mean 9 เรื่องเหรอเจ้าค่ะ
nice.
Nice
Nice.
story.
โอ้ย
วันนี้
ฟัง
Okay, think about ways of helping and why. The reason of helping. The stories related to ways of helping and why you are helping. Think of that story. Okay, why one has to help, and then how you help. So think on that topic, and then we'll come back. Okay. So thank you, everyone. I will see